Good evening, good morning, welcome everybody. Welcome to another edition of Boston Concessions. I'm your host, Topher. We are brought to you by SSBN, Small State Big Network, the boys down at Rhode Island. Oof, they've been talking. They've been talking. Not about us. No. That's another story. What I'm going to save. But what have they basically been talking about? Oh my God, a lot of things. These guys talk about the Red Sox. They talk about the Celtics. They know how to basically pitch it. And what am I talking about? Basically, almost the same thing. Red Sox, Celtics. I got some Bruins stuff. See how I option to that, and everything in between. And oh my God, this is probably going to be a very, very action-packed show. And what I mean by action-packed, I've got the scenes back up. The camera seems to be working. The microphone seems to be like actually plugging away. If you notice, I'm actually carrying myself a little bit different. And why? Because I'm poised. I'm prime. I'm ready. I was actually listening to a couple things like earlier today. I've got my thought process on. I don't have my jeans on though. And I am going to do what I normally do, just pull up YouTube on my little device over here. Why? Because it gives me a viewer. And to give everybody a lovely heads up, you can listen to us wonderfully on YouTube. We are live right now every Sunday night into Monday morning, live at midnight. What's the other option? Oh. What's the other option we do? Oh, we do Thursday nights. Again, same thing. Midnight, Thursday night, right into Friday morning. Gives that little additive of stretch. And we got a lot of stretch to like actually go over because there's a lot of things. There's a first base issue, drama, insightfulness, stuff we aim to see on a network TV show and not just really have a care, but it's there. What's the other view? The Bruins. They're down on their draft pick. They're basically down a coach. So they're down a little bit. Well, we got to pick them back up. We got to figure that out. The Celtics, they're even down. What is going on here? When has the city of Boston ever been down? Do you know? I'd love to know. I want to know. But instead, what we're going to do is we're going to take you right to everything. I'm going to be basically bringing you like some of that lovely information. And that's where we're going to go. Right into the Bruins. The Red Sox. No, the Bruins. The Bruins. We're hitting the Bruins. The Bruins. Because what are we doing with the Bruins? We got to figure this stuff out, man. I'll tell you like flat out. So, the Bruins have officially been told, hey, we got you in the draft. Here's your number. You're number 7. Well, they thought they were 4. They thought they were 5. They thought they were good. Draft lottery kicked in. Where did they kick them? Right to 7. Do you think Sweeney and company are ready for that? Do you also think that one of the stories that Neely said during that lovely conversation, one of the stories was basically, hey, we dropped the ball. We know we did. So now we got to look at this from another monumental standpoint and kind of focus on what we're doing and how we're doing it. Yeah. Yeah. Do you think they're going to drop the ball again, though? Because there's just something about the Bruins right now that doesn't make me happy. First off, like as I looked at one of the one of the editorials as I was reading it. This was from April 17th. They did wonder to the fact of Joe Sacco returning. Basically from their town hall, whatever the hell it was, I don't think that's in the cards. So you basically have Joe Sacco that's out. So he won't be returning. They list a couple guys basically going on, and it's one of the things that you kind of throw some red flags. It's kind of like, hey, we're going into the fact of like looking for our new head coach. It's kind of like dating. What head coach is going to be like in the mix for you? Are they going to be nice and easy on the eyes? Are they going to be soft and yielding like a Nerf ball? Are they going to bring that extra special love to the table? Are they going to whisper sweet nothings in your player's ear to make them play better? I'm going to go on no. But there's always the premise of like what they're going to bring. So one of the ones I'm looking at this one on it's CBS News is potential Bruin head coach candidates. Jay Leach. It says they'll be in the running. He was in charge of Boston's defense last season. He was previously the head coach of Providence for 4 seasons. He oversaw the development of Jeremy Swayman and Jacob Lauko. He spent 2 seasons as an assistant in Seattle, then returned to Boston in 2024. Let me say one thing about Leach, okay? He's 45 years old. He was interviewed for Boston before they went with Montgomery. If this man was in charge of the defense last year, I'm done. It basically says it all. Okay. What does this throw a red flag to me? Red flag 1. I wish I had like a little thing. Red flag. This throws a red flag to me because of one simple reason. Okay. The defense was horrendous last year. So if this is the guy that's put in charge of the defense, you want him running the whole team? Like, I understand promote from within. Bring the guy up. Bring the guy to the table. Let's see what we can do. Like let's get that homegrown feeling, right? Yeah? No, your town hall said it all. You wanted to adapt. You wanted to structure. You wanted to get yourself stronger. You wanted to basically look outside the box and find something that fit your narrative. If the way you played defense last year doesn't fit your narrative, this is a reason why. Jay Leach, if he was running the defense, was abysmal. Use that big word, abysmal. You don't put that kind of guy, like, how do you say, like, hey, you were dead last, you were horrible, let's promote you. Unless you can, like, look at me and give me a strong reason as to why you feel this guy would be the proper upbringing, why he would be the proper guy that you want to, like, bring up and motivate to be your number 1 to everybody around you. Because to me, he was a strong number 2. Defensive category. You failed the goalie. You failed the team. You failed everything. Good night, everybody. See you later. Like, call it a day. You don't promote someone like him to being your number 1, i.e. being your general, like your head coach, because what did he just do with the current coaching? Like, you kind of blew nuggets. And as it being a Wayne's World reference, I have proof. Look at the whole team the remaining of the year. Look at how they were crap. Can't do that. Won't do that. I kind of have to side against this. Okay. Now, if they go the Bruce Cassidy route, which is, hey, we're going to promote the Providence head coach up to the NHL level, because Providence was dynamite. So why not go with Ryan Montiel? He's a head coach down there. He's doing wonderful things. He's pumped for, everything that he's basically been pitching. So he's 49. He's been down to Providence for 4 years. He knows the Boston systems. He knows the team. He knows the players. Here's where I would pick him over Leach. He's 4 years into Providence. He understands and knows the players. He didn't have 2 years off, come back and run the team horribly as to what it is. He took the Providence Bruins. I believe they went to the playoffs, more so than not. So, I mean, like, looking at that, like, you're basically creating a culture right there that your system includes somebody that took a lead into what you're doing. So the players and everything like that have come up, the players that could come up, the players that are going to strengthen the team around everything, especially the 7th round, like the 7th pick in the draft. This is something that goes a little bit heads on with what you want to do. Now, thinking outside the box is David Quinn. He spent last season as Mike Sullivan's assistant in Pittsburgh. If he's not retained by the Penguins, he's been a head coach with the Rangers, the Sharks. He only had one winning season with the Rangers. So does that worry me a little bit? Yeah. He's a BU alumni. He coached the Terriers for 5 seasons. That's a stretch. Does Quinn have a little bit more than the other guys? Yeah, he's got like a plethora of experience. He's also 58 years old. The BU Terrier job kind of implements a lot of things that he can do. Where's that going to bring him, though? Is he going to bring the Terriers experience? Is he going to bring the NHL experience? The one thing I can say is where he was a BU alum for 5 seasons, he's going to be able to have certain knowledge and everything that would go with younger players. The one part that kind of nerves me with that is you had that option to go into a lot of things that will bring you where you need to be, but you didn't, especially with where you've coached. You coached the Rangers, 1 winning season. From 18 to 21 is when you coached the Rangers and you had that 1 winning season. Then you went to San Jose and you had losing seasons. You're not showing promise here. You're showing that you can lose. Now, is that the culture that Jacobs and company want, considering they promised the fans, hey, we're going to do what we can in order to bring the winning culture back to Boston? You don't go out and get a losing coach. That's job 1. Job 2 is you need to have somebody that's going to have a little bit more play. Ryan Montiel kind of carries that torch a little bit. If there's anybody else to the fact of like what they're running with, that's a great option. But who do they get from that moment on? I mean, even with Yardbarker, Rick Tocchet, He's an option. Um, there's a connection between Talking and the Bruins. Boston's a club. It's something that a Vancouver radio host, Rick Dewally, has indicated this could be like a big thing. Great. And this was actually done as of yesterday. So where the Canucks did not pick up the option on Talkin's contract, they were looking at a long term. The long term didn't work. So that's kind of in the play. There was a point to where like Mike Sullivan was also supposed to be in the running for Boston. He just signed with New York. So Mike Sullivan being the new Rangers head coach, and the Ducks filed their opening with Joel Quenneville. So Tocchet is a top candidate. He's basically been a powerhouse for the Canucks. It's not like the Canucks have had losing seasons. This is something that you can basically grow with a guy like Tocchet. You can make things happen where he's kind of like that go-to strong guy coach. And there's nothing within the running that's wrong with that. So one of the things as I move on like to Causeway Crowd, Scott Roach basically made his opinion within it. And what is it to the fact that like when you lose out on Mike Sullivan after he left the Penguins, who picked him up? Well, the Rangers did. So where do you go from there now? So you're basically going to take your time. Ryan Mulganell, he's on the radar. He's basically got the idea of being an AHL coach. The question, of course, does remain, can he coach at the NHL level? That's always going to be like a big question. Greg Cronin, he was fired after the season by the Anaheim Ducks. Kevin Paul DuPont of the Boston Globe as being interested in returning to Boston was Greg Cronin's thing. He was a head coach at Northeastern. He didn't get the job in Southern California. The organization just didn't seem to get over the it didn't seem like it was over the top, like of a hey, we got to sign you. So having that different roster look, especially with how you're going to like present yourself, that's basically a perfect flag. Can you take a guy like that and run with it? Yeah. Especially where like, he's meant to be for the younger candidates. Having Charlie McAvoy, having David Pastrnak, that's going to be like a huge addition. It's just my question would be, what is Don Sweeney going to bring to the table when he hits free agent market? What is Don Sweeney going to be open with when you hit that first round 7th pick? Everybody says, "Oh, Sweeney's going to be aggressive." We've seen Sweeney be aggressive. It's kind of trash. I mean, you get some decent players, but then what do you do with them? How do you work them? Like, where do you go from there? So, you got to wonder at that point, is it going to be something that you can do? Dan Bilzma, he's another one. He had just the 1 year in Seattle with the Kraken. They underachieved, missed the playoffs. Basically, they outed him. I kind of blame that on Seattle. To Seattle, especially if I'm the coach, I'm going out and being like, listen, they're a brand new team. They're finding their identity. They're finding a lot of things that are going on. To cut their coach is kind of trash. You're younger with not a lot of veteran leadership. How are you supposed to carry yourself, especially when you're a brand new team? Of course, you're going to miss the playoffs. Not everybody can be the Vegas Golden Knights, which they went out and said, hey, we're going to be very, very aggressive. We're going to go get players. We want to house like everything we're doing. We're the city of Vegas. Seattle kind of just sat on their hands, made it go numb, and then brought it to the table and was like, no? Okay. Because they weren't as aggressive. They didn't spend their money lavishly like the Golden Knights did. They didn't go out in free agency and pull everything that they were doing. They also didn't go out when you look at like what they did in the draft. They didn't go out and get like the prized creme de la creme or trade or do anything. No, they kind of sat there and pulled a Don Sweeney. We're going to take this guy. Why? Well, he's good for the roster. Whose roster? Ours? Okay. Don't admit to it, but yeah. Bilzma developed younger talent in the AHL level. He was part of the Penguins in 2009, working with Sidney Crosby when they did their Stanley Cup run. Can Bilzma bring that magic to Boston? Well, if you can find a guy exactly like Crosby, grow them, make them up to like what it is, that's a positive. That's something that you can do. That's something that you can, bring to the table. That's perfect. We talked about Rick Tocchet. So this actually states he was fired after they missed the Western Conference postseason. And it would basically bring him back to working with Elias Lindholm and Nikita Zadorov. So this actually says something funny. He's fiery behind the bench, which I said. And they said it didn't end well with former coach Bruce Cassidy, but Tocchet would be inheriting a different roster of players than Cassidy was tough on. Either which way, there is something in that locker room that is making people prima donnas. Tocchet would need to tackle that. And if you're the same kind of coach as, what you're going to have in Cassidy, yes, there is a certain player that is not here anymore that will, not have that issue. However, how do you know another player wouldn't? Or how do you know that like another player isn't going to have those same issues just in a different field? So of course, this man has a lot of work to do, and I'm looking at Don Sweeney. What is my issue with the Don? Very, very simple. Okay. Don's issue is he going to be that remedial tough guy that everybody needs in order to bring into the fold to be a little bit more assertive with what he's going to draft? not only with what he's going to draft, but what he's going to do during the draft. Is he going to be everything that you need and more to get everybody up to the level of, hey, I'm going to go after this guy. I'm going to go after this guy. And I'm going to go after this guy. And I'm going to be a little bit more to where I'm going to drop an extra mil or two or 0.5 in order to see if it entices the guy. I'm going to see if, like, hey, we've got a new coach. We've got our goalie experience. We've got this experience. We've got a lot of things going, and we're the Bruins. But what are you going to do? See, me, like a lot of other people, when you read how people feel, how people go upon their ways, it doesn't seem like people were happy with having the Sween back in the talk of drafting a player or going after somebody in free agency. Why? Because Sweeney lacks that. Yes, you got decent players. The money that you got for those decent players, or you put towards those decent players, it should have garnished a more bigger return that would have been 30 times better than what you looked at. I don't see that. So what right now are you looking to do? What right now is your direction? Because if you're going to go out and get free agents, great. Point to me the free agents that'll give me a little bit better peace of mind. Okay? Because if I'm looking at this and I basically type in 2025 free agents, okay? Right now, you've got a good amount of players that you can go and get, but where are you going to start? Unrestricted free agents starts with Toronto. You've got John Tavares. He's 34, almost 35. Then you've got Mitch Marner. It's a right winger. He's 28. His previous salary, almost $11 million. Jamie Benn, who was with Dallas, he's going to be 36 by the time next year goes. Nick Backstrom, he's going to be 38. Brent Burns, he's 40. Could you benefit from a Dmitry Orlov who's going to be like 34, 35 years of age? Again, you're going to be paying high money. How about Aaron Ekblad, who will just probably turn 30 by the time... Actually, no, he'll still be 29. Now, Ekblad from Florida kind of is pretty good for defense. Ivan Pavlov, he's 29. He's with Columbus. But again, he's money. Brock Bosner, Vancouver, 28 just recently. He's another $6 million. I'm not even going to look at the big guys. I just want, someone that you can benefit. Sam Bennett. That's a guy you can go in. Christian Dorvac. He's going to be 30. Kyle Palmieri. He's going to be 30. Well, he's going to be 34 still. But he's money. Can't go for Riley Smith. We already had him. See the bottom of the list because I got to look at the cheapos because you want to look at the cheapos. Some of these guys are like young kids, you know. Gustav Olofsson from Seattle. He's in his 30s, but he's not even $1 million. There you go. Adam Klapka from Calgary. He's 25. He'll be under $1 million. How do they do? Jake Livingstone. He's from Nashville. He's under $1 million. He's just 26 years old right now. These are all features that this man is going to have to do his homework. But the first thing he's going to do is he's going to look right at the top part of the list. You know, let's look at the high guys. Let's look at what we can spend, how we can spend it. I don't even think you barely have money right now, like looking at what you can spend. What do you run off that with? You know? Like right now, I'm in the, you've got Derek Forbett from Vancouver. He's 1.5. Max Pacioretty, he's going to be probably 37 by the time the season starts. Ilya Samsonov, he's a goalie. Vegas Golden Knights, he's going to be 28, turning 29 during the season. You know, he's $2 million. And you've got to find a replacement for Korpisaloff. Why? Because he wants more playing time. How do you constitute him having more playing time when he was just as much of a bum as Jeremy Swayman was this year? Like, this is what I don't get when people want more time when you suck. Like, yes, you got higher playing time. Yes, your stats were a lot better, but did you do anything proper about it? No. Here's a joy. You've got Morgan Geekie, who's an unrestricted free agent. He's basically 27. He's in Boston. Here's another guy that I still feel that the fact that they shouldn't have got rid of, Ryan Donato. He's a center. He's 29 years of age right now, and he's at the $2 million mark with Chicago. To come back to Boston, not a bad option. You know, Trent Frederick. He's up. He's in Edmonton. They ain't going to get him back. He's going to want money. Why? 2.3. You traded them for a reason, right? Yeah. But, like, even Matt Grzelcyk, he's 2.7. You know? Does anybody really want Grzelcyk back? No. Gustav Nyquist, he's 30. He's going to be 36. That's a waste. Mason McTavish, he's going to be like 23. And he's already at the 3.4 mark. This is, I mean, hell, if you really want to be fancy, go get Patrick Kane. 37-year-old, $4 million man. And if you think to the fact that anybody's given Sweeney the deal of the century, he's not. Nobody is. This man is going to be exactly as this picture shows. He's going to be asleep at the wheel. So the question is going to be, is Neely going to step up and like actually help with this? Is he going to help recruit like, a general manager should? Is this going to be something that like, you've got to sit there and turn around and go, hey, I can do this. No, you really can't. That's where I kind of get a little bit of a worry. You've got to look at all these guys and pray that you can pull somebody that is not going to be a Ben Gay star and is at least going to give you the work you need to, like, in order to put everything in. That's at least my take with the Bruins. So get yourselves ready, because free agency is going to be a wild ride. But so the draft is too, because Rip Van Sweeney is, I'm going to call it, he's going to be asleep at the wheel within what to do. Because right now, if you're not spending a lot of money, I'm not seeing a lot of people that you would chase down to spend extra on. If it's a young kid, he has a little bit more promise, maybe. But I don't see it with like a lot of things. So we'll leave it as it's the stretch, as we call it. All right. Now we're basically breaking into the Red Sox. Whew. It's great when you talk about the Bruins. Then everything like that just goes, oh my God. Did you really just say all that? Yeah, I did. But the Red Sox are now prized with this man again. Why? Let's go to Boston.com. Because we're going to take over for what Connor Ryan said about one of the things. And I'm going to be very opinionated with this, because this brings right now into the fold two of my least favorite people on the Red Sox. It's bringing Rafael Devers, and it's bringing in Alex Cora. And all of you know how I feel about Alex Cora. And you've, from the beginning of the year, how I felt about Devers. This is now coming to fruition. The unopenness of what you're seeing is where I'm having the issue. So let's go back a little bit. And we're going to talk about the guy that was kind of on the edge of suck. And yes, we're talking about Tristan Casas. So Casas is out for the year. With that, you have to find a first baseman. Hey, what if we asked Rafael Devers to be that first baseman? Would anybody have a thing against that? No. I mean, you're not really having to fully field like you would at third base. Might be a little bit of a benefit for him. Might be something that he might like. Can't knock it. Can't go wrong with it. It's doing what he wants to. It's playing the field and batting. What's wrong with that? I'm not seeing an issue with it. But guess who has an issue with it? So Devers, I guess, was not approached by Alex Cora to be the Red Sox first baseman. Nope. It was the boss. It was Craig Breslow. Pulled Devers aside, asked him how he was doing, asked him about playing first base. Was Cora feared of this? Did Cora have some sort of, I don't want to go through with it? But Devers made it clear after their win today. They played an early game. They beat the Rangers 5-0. But Devers came off and said he's made it clear he has no intention of moving over to first. And this is per Mass Live's Christopher Smith. They had the conversation with me. I don't think for me personally it's the best decision after they asked me to play a different position and I only have 2 months of playing this position to all of a sudden have me try to play another position. From my end, it doesn't seem like a good decision. Third base is my position. It's where I've played. I don't know what their plans are. I know we had a conversation. I made it clear kind of what my desires were and what happens from here. I don't know. They asked me the question about how I felt about DH, and yeah, I gave them the answer I just gave. No. He added, noting that it was a surprise to be asked to DH and the scenario played out. I'm someone that I believe in people's word and I take it to heart. And yeah, it was very surprising that they would suggest that. Devers changed his tune and accepted the role as Boston's full-time DH. When Bregman came on, and it allowed him to play third for the year. Devers, slow to start with the 0-16, is now batting .255 with 6 home runs, 25 RBIs, slugging a home run in Thursday's win over Texas. But of course, life happens. And what happened? Well, your teammate, Tristan Casas, went down with a season-ending injury. So, what happened here? I know I'm a ball player, but at the same time, they can't expect me to play every single position out there. In spring training, they talked to me, basically told me to put away my glove, that I wasn't going to play any other position but DH. So right now, I feel like it's not an appropriate decision for them to ask me to play another position. And this further from Devers, they told me they didn't want to allow me to play any other position. And now I think they should do their job essentially and hit the market and look for another player. I'm not sure why they want me to be in between in the way they have me now. So, when asked this question, is there a chance of him changing his stance and moving forward? I don't think so, Devers said. They told me I'm a little hard-headed. They already asked me to change once, and this time I don't think I could be as flexible. People then asked if he was upset that the Red Sox were the ones to approach him about making another switch from DH to first base. Yeah, I don't think they stay true to their word. They told me I was going to be playing this position, DH, and now they're going back on that. So yeah, I don't think they stay true to their word. Here in the clubhouse, thankfully, the relationship that I have with my teammates is great. I don't understand some of the decisions that the GM makes. Next thing you know, someone in the outfield gets hurt and they want me to play in the outfield. I think I know the kind of player I am, and yeah, that's just where I stand. So, since Connor put a lot of this into perspective, and he took a lot from Devers, this would say to Rafael Devers, you fucking idiot! There, I got that out of my system. I'm going to basically backtrack and go upon what Devers basically said. First off, he said he's a ball player. That's exactly what he is. He plays ball. He plays on a team. He plays for the Boston Red Sox. This isn't the Boston Devers. And if it was, I wouldn't root for the team because, one, you're showing what a absolute D-bag you are right now. And you're also showing disrespect for your teammates. Say it flat out. and say it to the reason why. Does Rafael Devers really think in his chrome domed head, okay, or his baby face like little puffy cheeks, to the fact that anybody is going to ask for his ill-will, dim-witted defense to play in the outfield? That's like asking him to man shortstop. Is it smart? No. Is it a position he's played? No. Is he being a dramatic little worm? Yes. Does this man not make $300 million for this team? Did he not get paid? Contract? Very high? Off the books? Holy crap. To be a ball player? You know what that entitles? That entitles you to be a team player. Why is it? And this will go back because I asked my dad about this. You know, I was about to go live, and I like talking sports with my dad. So my dad came home, looks at me, and goes, "What?" It's like, "I want to pick your brain." It's like, "Do you know the first baseman situation with the Red Sox?" He's like, "Yeah." Do you know the Devers situation with the Red Sox? Yeah. Do you think that's right? This is exactly what my dad said. There were a couple people that he knows that were high-end players that changed positions for the betterment of the team. Why? Because in the long run, it made them better. For example, previously, Boston Red Sox Mookie Betts was a second baseman shortstop. When they brought him up, Dustin Pedroia was already manning second base. What did they do? Swung him to the outfield. What happened with Mookie Betts? He excelled. They then had Jackie Bradley. They're going to put him in center. They moved Mookie over to right field. What did he do? He excelled. There's nothing wrong with that. What's the difference between Mookie Betts and Rafael Devers? Mookie Betts plays defense. He's a natural. He's someone that will go in and he can probably play anywhere. And even for the Dodgers right now, he makes more than Rafael Devers. That man, when he was traded as an outfielder. He played second base, and he's also played shortstop. With no question asked. Why? Because he's a team player. If he knows of the fact that one of his teammates goes down for an injury, is he going to say, "Oh, coach, you're screwed"? "Oh, teammates, you're screwed"? No. Hey, where do you need me this game? By the way, that's what Boston traded. They traded a guy like Mookie for a guy like this. Secondly, Dad mentioned to the fact of Carl Yastrzemski. He made a move, I believe, to first base to cover for an injury. Who got moved to play third base at one point? Rico Petrocelli. What Boston is asking of Devers is nothing that has happened before. The expectation was we have Tristan Casas for the moment. We have everything at our disposal. What is to the fact of like what we're doing? Well, can you handle a 10-day injury? Yeah. You know, you just fit anybody in. It's the beginning of the season, and then you work with it, and then Casas will come back. This is not a 10-day injury. And if I'm Tristan Casas, or I'm anybody on that Red Sox team, I'm looking at Devers and going, dude, shut your fucking mouth and play ball. And I try not to swear on this podcast. But there's times where, like, when, right now, if you're watching YouTube, it's Rafael Devers is watching me because I'm talking shit about him because he's an absolute idiot who doesn't know his ass from his elbow. What is the point of what he needs to, like, understand about this? If they paid me and drafted me as a shortstop, they drafted me as an outfielder, they drafted me as a first baseman, a catcher, a relief pitcher, they drafted me as anything in the freaking world. And then one day they said the kids are going to be upset. We're going to have you on the bench, but can you dress up as Wally? I have a contract that states to the fact that I work for the Red Sox. They asked me to go be Wally. I'm going to put on the friggin' suit, dance the Hubba Bubba because ain't nobody going to know it's me. I'm going to make fans happy, make kids happy, and collect a paycheck and go home. What is the point that we're missing here? Oh, that's right, too. Rafael Devers can say whatever he wants. He's still going to collect a paycheck, but he's basically looking at the Red Sox brass, flipping him the middle finger, going, I don't have to do what you tell me. To quote a song, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Is it the Rage Against Devers? It's not Rage Against the Machine. It would be Rage Against the Red Sox. Tell me, honestly, does that pinpoint anything? Because in my eyes, it states to the fact, and this goes back to like even his agent when he's like, no, he's a third baseman. He's a third baseman. You signed him as a third baseman. Hey, dipshit doodle who doesn't know his ass about contracts, show me on the dotted line where it says he's a third baseman only. You signed up to play ball. Baseball is a team sport. The Red Sox are asking you to be a team player because one of your teammates went down. Okay? They're not asking you. Okay. Here's where I'll curveball the story. Okay? Here's the curveball. Here it is. If Tristan Casas was batting .87 and they were going to put him on a 15-day deal, and they went up to him and said, hey, can you play first base? Would I be on Rafael Devers' side to tell them to go fuck off? Yes. You told me I'm a DH. That's it. He'll be back in 15 days. Find somebody to fill in. Perfect. Okay? You've got other guys that can fill in and do everything, but no. You need it for the year. There's a difference between 10, 15 days and the whole year. You're not talking about a 10, 15-day DL. You're talking about a multiple month DL. And it's not even to the fact that like you're asking for anything serious. You're just asking him to catch a fucking ball. That's it. Catch a ball. It's being thrown. Hey, I'm sitting here. Boop. Catch. Good. Yay. Plus, why are they asking you to play first base? Easy. It's a mirroring of third. Flip-flop. That's all it is. It's not anything big. It's not anything heavy. It's the opposite of the base you've been playing. Nothing, again, wrong with that. Why are you making it out to be a big deal? Why are you making it out to be this strong man? Oh, I got to talk to them, and I got to be like this to them, and I got to make it like it's this and this. Dude, no. You are not this team's anything. And to state it clearly, because there's one man in that dugout, which is Jason Varitek. He was the captain for a reason. And if he's to lead anything on this team, I know Tech would pull Devers aside and be like, dude, just play the bass. That's the mentality that you need. Just shut up, dude, and play the bass. Do they pay you? Yes. Are you getting paid to be a ball player? Yes. Does the ball player entitle to the fact that you may have to play somewhere else? Now, if they were asking him to play second, I could understand the argument. If they were asking him to play shortstop, right field, left field, center field, catcher, I can see an embargo within where there's an issue and where there's a way. They're not. They're asking him to play corner infield, which he already does when he plays third base. I don't see the big issue here. I don't see why you're making it this big mountain. Shut up and play the freaking position. And it doesn't even stop there. What is the point of this? This is Brokeback Baseball. Because if Cora can't pull his guy aside and have a conversation with Devers, we need you to play the bass. If you have such a rapport with your players, and you know that having Kristen Casas down puts you down a player, especially for first base, isn't the one thing you should have done was talk to your player? Tell him what the benefit of it is. Tell him the bonuses of doing what he's doing. Putting his mind at ease to the fact that, like, this will get you in a stronger grace. Because right now, as a Red Sox fan, I'm not giving 2 iota of a crap about Devers. Okay? If you're not going to bat for your teammates, you're trash. If you're not willing to adjust for your team, you're trash. If you're whining because, oh my God, they're asking me to play a position again when they told me I would put my glove away. Dude, put your thumb in your mouth. Okay, go lay down in your freaking towel and just shut up. That is a perfectly horrible excuse for anything in the world. But Cora not talking to Devers does this team an injustice. Why, you ask? Where should you be looking? Do you want to spend more money? Not really. Do you know there's a plethora of first basemen out there? There really aren't. Who's linked to it? Anthony Rizzo. That's the outside source. And Rizzo's semi-retired. So the fact of him coming back to Boston, yes, back to Boston. For those of you who don't know, he played for the Pawtucket Red Sox. So yes, he would be coming back to Boston. Does that make sense anywhere? Well, if he can field, if he can do it, if he can hit, I bet you Matsuzaka Yoshida can, or whatever his name is, if you asked him to play first, hey, I don't have to move my arm much. All I got to do is field the ball. That ain't that bad. If you can get him to do it, there's a place to put him. If you can get Roman Anthony to do it, it's even better. You know, Roman Anthony coming in. But what's the option with Devers now? Would you really make Cora upset if you moved him? I made this very clear that my hot take for this is come the trade deadline, if he has to play first or if he has to do anything. Devers is 1 out. Somebody said it earlier. You don't need Devers. That's great. It's great that you don't need Devers. But then what do? Easy. You find someone to go in there and do what he needs to. Okay? You go in there and you do what you need. So when Craig Breslow approaches you about playing first base and you're not willing to do it, let me read some comments here. Okay? This is from MLB on Fox after they made the thing. Red Sox fans have to be so happy that they chose Devers over Mookie Betts, who willingly changes positions every year with the Dodgers. Then someone comes in, Sox didn't choose Mookie over Devers. They offered Mookie $300 million over 10 years. He declined. Sox could have kept him the final year, but they decided to trade him. I would leave Devers at DH and maybe look at signing Anthony Rizzo. Probably not hit much and would bat near the bottom of the order. Can still fill the scoop balls out of the dirt. It's great. He wasn't willing to DH and see what happened. If you refuse to do your job, you should be shown the door. Trade him for whatever you can get. Someone says, in all fairness, I don't think Rafi would be a good first baseman. He isn't a good fielder to begin with. The solution is to call up Roman Anthony and have him play first, or put him in center and have someone else play first. That's great. So you're going to call up a young kid to play a base that he probably doesn't know yet, or you're going to put him in a position where you could actually stunt his position for growth. And this person, I'm not upset about it. The same people that are screaming for him to play first are the same people that are going to scream at him when he evidently makes an error or two at first. Would be a good team player thing for him to do, sure. But he's a DH, and this isn't his problem to solve. No, but he's a ball player. Okay? In other words, he's selfish, doesn't care about his teammates, and that's what's best for the team. Only himself. Karma will catch up. So they took his position away to DH. Now they want him to play another corner position. Nope, sign another guy. Anyone hit Kevin Millar in I think yesterday's broadcast? He needs to be a team player and get out there at first base. He could be a Gold Glover and not realize it. Devers already got paid. If he makes an error, it happens. We need the best bats in the lineup. I also wish Kevin was full-time in the booth. Makes the games more entertaining to watch. Kevin Millar is also one of the guys that when he came aboard with the team, well, it was him and Jason Giambi for first base with David Ortiz. Well, David wasn't going to be the stronger guy, but you had Jason, who was a stronger bat, but then you also had Kevin Millar, who was a stronger defense. But you knew to the fact that Kevin Millar had a little bit of pop in his step. Devers is that offensive prowess. I'm not going to lie about that. He's decent with the bat. He's not, oh my God, I'm going to drool over him numbers, because he's still 28 years old. And let's put it this way. If you put up his numbers versus Vlad Guerrero's, rather Vlad. And look at Vlad. He, third baseman, now playing first base. Option with anywhere that he can literally play. What's wrong with that? There are guys that go to different, positions all the time. Look at Blake Swihart, for crying out loud. And my dad brought this up, thankfully, and this is what I enjoy about my dad. He brought up Blake Swihart, who was a catcher. But the problem is that you had Sal Talamacchia and oh my God, I think you had somebody else who was basically your catcher. And name's escaping me at the moment. But where those were your everyday catchers, what really was Blake Swihart to do? So he attempted to play outfield because he was taking the advantage of who? Bryce Harper, who was a catcher by birth. With what he could do, he was a catcher. But they had the catcher with everything they needed. Where did they move him? The outfield. Where is he doing now? I believe he's doing outfield and first base. But what's he doing? He's hitting. Devers just needs to shut up and play ball. And get touched by Cora if that's what he's doing. Okay? But it goes into the staple of how I feel about Alex Cora. This should have been a conversation because this is what the team needs. The team needs someone to work first base. Your first easy, viable option, because in case you got two options outside and they both say no, what do? You're improvising with what you have in front of you to try to make it work. Heaven forbid anything else. But you don't expect your inside guy to say no. And what's it to be to the fact that 4 games out of the week and he sits there and plays first 2 out of the 4? Plays 2? Plays DH? Doesn't play the 4th? What's wrong with that? Just be that guy. Step up and be the man. You can't even do that for your team. You think your teammates are loving you right now? No. You're causing them anguish. You're causing them crap. Be better, Devers. I would, if it was my option right now, Devers, do you want to be traded? Yeah. Okay, cool. Because if I'm Craig Breslow, the one thing I'm going to state is I'm going to go up to Rafael Devers and I'm going to ask him if he wants to be traded. Can I get next to nothing for him? Sure. Marcelo Meyer will play third. Am I worried at that moment? Nope. Why? Because there's another person waiting in the wings to play the game. Play that position. Play where he needs to. And these are guys that are getting paid lower than him. There's the step. There's the boundary. Draw the line in the sand. Devers, shut up, get out the door. We'll facilitate you going out the door. You have no problem with that. Get out. Simple. Easy. Newport. Little. Yellow. Different. Get out. Why did the Newport thing come up? Easy. Because he's a headache. He's been a headache since the beginning of the freaking year. Why? Dude, what's the benefit of the team? We know you play third. What's the benefit of the team? You to bat and give the person who needs to play the field the more instinct to play the field. They're better than you. Not going to sugarcoat it. They are better than you. Where should they play? Third base. Where should Devers go? DH. What's the problem? Don't know. Like I said in this podcast before, David Ortiz knew he was not good at first base. Knew he was not good at fielding. He knew he was okay. Couple things here or there. Play it if it needed to. but he was a power bat with a monstrous swing. Was he the team's first baseman? Or was he the team's DH? Last I checked on my monitor, he was the team's DH. And what did he do? He turned a career out of it. You play the National League where they don't have a DH? Oh, yeah, he plays first base for a couple innings. Then gets substituted. You know, if they're winning, they're losing, and everything like that. Fine. Pure. Beautiful. Great. David Ortiz can do that. Yet Rafael Devers tells the team to go fuck themselves. What doesn't make sense here? Rafael Devers is not bigger than anybody. He is not bigger than the Red Sox. He is not bigger than the game of baseball. He is not bigger than anything in the world to have somebody tell him, hey, you kind of got to do what you're doing. If he was that horrible, sign him up. Get him where he needs to be. We don't want you to first base. We just want you to hit the ball. First off, you're still batting .255. You're starting to wake up, but you're still low on the totem pole within how you're hitting. He's got 6 home runs. Wonderful. Is he leading the team? No? Don't talk. Is he leading the team in batting average? Is he leading the team in doubles? Is he leading the team in triples? Is he leading the team in hits? No. You don't have a friggin' peg to walk on, dude. Because did you take how you were playing right now? And did you maybe get, were you playing like crap for a reason? I still wonder that. Was he not playing up to par because he was pissed off? Because he was making a statement? Could be. But now what does this do? I'm still standing within my guidelines to the fact that do I think they need to stop the Devers experiment, understand that they made a really, really bad signing, and shovel him off to anywhere that wants to go. Because right now, the way I'd look at this, you have to find a spot for Devers. Not only do you have to find a spot for Devers, you have to find a team that right now is going to take him. Because people are going to go absolutely crazy with the bat. Oh, I love it. Oh, Devers is going to come out there and rake. He's going to hit dongs all day. He's going to put the ball over the fence. It's going to be monumental. Hey, Devers, can you play third? No. Can you play first base for a couple games? No. Why is this guy against playing a game? Can you do something for us? No. It's against my rules, against my contract. Well, look at you. Lottie frickin' da. Do you think anybody cares at that point? No. Nobody wants to see this kind of player. This is trash. Why is it trash? Because it teaches kids that are there to play the game, that look up to Rafael Devers, that you could say no to doing it and leave your teammates in the wind and just focus on yourself and you'll be great. So now there's going to be some 12-year-old that looks up to Rafael Devers, thinks he's, the bee's knees. And, hey, kid, we need you to play first today. No. What do you mean no? You did it last week. I don't want to anymore. Well, I need you at first base. We're going to put Billy in and like at third. No. What do you mean, no? You've played the position before. Billy hasn't. No. What's with the change of the... Well, Rafael Devers says, like, he doesn't have to do it. I don't have to do it. If Rafael Devers says to, like, jump off the Tobin and go, like, really deep diving, are you going to go do it? No. So, what's the problem? I see the problem. You're basically going to have kids that are going to look up to this. And what's it going to do? It's going to break them. It's going to change them. It's going to make whatever it is, because people follow Rafael Devers. He's great. Ooh, he's a home run machine. This is what you decided to play. Straight garbage. And that's fine. You can do that. But just remember, your teammates remember, Pepperidge Farm remembers. But enough about Devers. Sick and tired of talking about him. Why? Because that makes me sick. Alex Cora going against the team. Well, you know what else makes me sick? The NBA playoffs right now. I said this would be a grind. I didn't expect this kind of grind. Expected the fact that the Knicks would probably take one and they'd be very, very lucky with how they're doing it. Do you want to talk about a string of luck? The Celtics right now are down 2-0. 2-0. Funny thing is, betting odds are still garnishing them to like actually win. They're currently favored to win the series against the Knicks, despite the Knicks holding a 2-0 lead in the series. Now, here's a funny thing that I'll state, okay? The team that goes up and wins and gets the first two games when they're up 2-0, it's an 87% chance that the other team comes back and beats that team. 87% chance. That's basically historically how it's gone. Have people come back from 2-0 leads and won the series? Yes. Is it stacked against them? Yes. Okay? Well, the Knicks have played well in the first two. The Celtics are a team with a stronger roster. They're known for the ability to rebound from adversity. Well, not when the first game, when they miss an NBA playoff record 45 three-pointers in game one. Nope. That basically runs you ragged. And then it's the second time from game one and game two, you had a 20-point lead. And for whatever reason, Homer Simpson came over to you and choked you out like Bart Simpson because you choked. 20-point lead in game one and game two, blown by the Celtics. I haven't seen a skilled blow. Never mind. We're going to take that into... Yep. You heard me swear a couple times for the Devers piece. I'm not going to go... like off the grid. But Yahoo Sports Yahoo Sports basically saying the Celtics are still favored in the East, besides not being favored against the Knicks. So, where does this break down to? Well, Kristaps Porzingis started playing. He did okay for the first game, and then left with an undisclosed illness. And then he was kind of sketchy for game 2. Came in, played a little bit, made a couple dunks, blah, 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 showed a unicorn piece, but then kind of fizzled. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown have basically been iffy. I'll tell you from three-point land, they don't exist. Who's been the person to talk about? Well, Drew Holiday for game 2 was purely one to talk about. Derek White during both games has been definitely someone to talk about. Al Horford's trying to hold his will, but I think he's getting outplayed. Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, they're doing their part, but it's just not coming up enough. Is it something about Missoula ball where you have to shoot a 3 every time? I'm all for the 3, okay? It's a little bit exciting. It's, dude, can you hit this from long range? Are you like sniper effect when you do it? Yeah. It's kind of one of those big pieces that get you excited. Just like a heavy-hearted dunk. Gets the blood flowing. So why can't you do a little bit of transitional offense, transitional defense, play it up, play it like in the paint, play the mid-range game, pop a couple 3s, see how everything goes, make your mark for like how the game is. If you're being big in the paint, rush the paint. If you're being big in the numbers with the 3s, pop the 3s. If you're doing both, continue to do both. Make life happen. What are the Celtics doing? The opposite of that. They are, in other words, failing where they should be succeeding and popping up every which way they need to go. What's breaking down, though? Is it them as a team right now? Is it something that they're not getting done? Is it something to where there's a lot of is it just something that is going to cause a very hairy issue? There's going to be those monuments that they need to overcome. And whatever the heck was that issue, that's what you need to work on. But you need to find a different way of ball. When you played game 1, okay, and you were down and you knew where the ball was going, it was going to one of the Jays. Should you have popped it to Derek White and had him pop a 3? Yeah. Should you popped it to Drew Holiday? Should you popped it to Al Horford? Should you have moved it around a little bit and left both of the Jays alone? Yeah. And don't get me wrong. If you're going to have somebody on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, it's understandable to the fact that, like, the more clutch you're going to see is Jason Tatum. That's been proven in the playoffs. That's been proven in the regular season. Jason Tatum is clutch. So what are you going to do about it? You're going to get the ball to him. But wait a minute. If I know that, does the other team know that? No. Yeah. Should you have, like, basically dealt the ball somewhere else? Yes. Get the ball to, Derek White. He's just as skilled. He's just as good. Can he shoot the ball in the clutch? Well, it's possible. But where you know to the fact that they know you're going to Tatum, they know you're going to Brown. Think outside the box. Drew Holiday. Post it up, have them go. Next thing you know, you got a J open because they're double teaming you. Bounce the ball over. Look at that. Shot up. Good. Go home with a win. Should I coach? Because it seems like better control. Maybe there needs to be that type of demeanor. Maybe there just needs to be something that actually brings up, maybe there just needs to be something that like actually shows everything that's going on. Because right now, I'm looking at is that one of the ways to go? Nope. All right. So I'm looking at primarily the Pacers leading over the Cavaliers 2-0. Pacers won by 1 point. And that was playing on Cleveland's court. So they're doing the exact same thing that the Knicks are doing right now. The Knicks, we've already said, 2-0 on the Celtics. Between the Nuggets and Oklahoma City, series is tied 1-0. Great. And then the Timberwolves beating Golden State tonight with a Stephen Curry-less Golden State. Well, you're looking at 117-93, and they just basically shut down everybody. Jimmy Butler had 17, Buddy Hield had 15. Jonathan Kugamanga had 18. Jackson Davis had 15. So when you don't have your high hope guy, yeah, it's going to do damage. Julius Randle for the Timberwolves had 24. Jaden McDaniels had 16. Anthony Edwards had 20. Alexander Walker had 20. Naz Reid had 11 points. There's a lot of points to like throw up there, especially when you have 117 points against the Golden State Warriors. Not slouchy. But with the Celtics playing the Knicks on the 7th, this is the point of what you're looking at. Josh Hart and Karl Anthony Towns, 20 points plus apiece. Josh Hart, 23. Karl Anthony had 21. Mikal Bridges had 14. Jalen Brunson had 17. OG Anunoby had 5. It makes a big deal for like what you're looking at, but those are the big guys that are scoring. If you look at their bench, Miles McBride, 5 points. Mitchell Robinson, 8 rebounds, but only 6 points. Other than that, everybody played. When you look at the team here, Jason Tatum had 13. Jaylen Brown had 20. Derek White, 20. Drew Holiday, 10. Horford, 4. Porzingis, 8. Luke Cornett, 6. Peyton Pritchard, 9. A lot of those are always double digits. Al Horford, at least 10 plus. Jason Tatum, 20 plus. Jaylen Brown, 20 plus. Drew Holiday usually has 15 to 18. Pritchard will go double digits as well. Cornett and Porzingis, that's a huge step up. Jason Tatum also having 14 rebounds. The next person next to him is Derek White. When your big guys aren't boxing to take those rebounds down, that's a worry. But are they getting the other big guys away? Yeah. My stance on this right now, am I pretty peeved that the Celtics are losing against the Knicks? No. I said it was going to be a grind series, and it is. Did I say Celtics in 5, maybe 6 with the push to 7? Is that coming to fruition? Well, they can't do it in 5 because they'd be playing game 6. So if they won 4 games straight, they would put them out in 6. So 5 is off the table. 6 is open to it if they go 4 straight. Are they going to go 4 straight? That's going to be a big turn. First off, are the Celtics a little bit better playing away? Yes. Are they big on playing in Madison Square Garden? Yes. Can that be a killer for the Knicks? Well, let's put it this way. Right now, one team is riding a contact high, and the other one's just kind of low. But you're going to have a couple days off. You're going to have Thursday off. You have Friday off. You get back in there on Saturday for game 3. It's an afternoon game. You know to the fact that this is going to be basically a strenuous thing. Are they shutting down the threes? Yes. Do you need to compromise for that? Yes. You need to show what your worth is going to be. Well, at the end of the game, if you're trailing by 2 or you're winning by 1, don't pull the same crap over and over again. There's plenty of tape upon the team that basically helps you watch. Show them something different. Better yet, show you what you would do in the second quarter for the end game. Because nobody's going to think of that. You're pulling off like a second quarter play versus what you would do at the end of the game. Derek White shoots a 3, pops a 2, pitches into Drew Holiday, who's wide open because everybody expects him to run to him. Both Jays double teamed. Hello. Basketball 101. Not a coach. Just simply knowing the fact of what you study. And when you're looking at the same thing over and over and over again of what the Celtics are doing, you're either blowing out teams or you're coming really close to blowouts, but there's still chances of the other team coming back. This is one of those moments. Don't be down. Don't be out. Be better. I know I was going to rip the Celtics a brand new one and everything like that, but I said in the previous pod, the Knicks are not a sleep team. You know, they're decent for what they are. I think they're the 4th seed, which is where they're at. So, I mean, is that anything to go off of? No. Just looking at the bracket, the Knicks are the number 3 team. So you're basically playing the number 2 to the number 3. Like I said with the Timberwolves and the Warriors, they're split 1 game apiece. That's a 6 game and 7. The Thunder and the Nuggets are split 1 game apiece. Cleveland is having their rear end handed to them by a 4th seed team. But what do I say about the Pacers? They're going to grind. They're going to give you a good series. Right now, they went into Cleveland and took 2 games. Is this something that the Celtics can get off of? Yes. Is it something that they can actually beat and combat to where they can be better offensively, defensively? Do they have to win the game? Do they need to rest Porzingis? Do they need to rest Al? Do they need to rest everybody there and get basically a different charge for when 3:30 rolls around on Saturday? This is do or die. If you go down 3 games to none, you're not repeating. I'll say that flat out. Because if you're seriously losing this badly to the Knicks, number 1, you didn't want it hard enough. 2, you're not showing you want it hard enough, especially when you blow 20-point leads. Now, here's the question. How are you blowing those 20-point leads? Are you taking people out at the wrong time? Are you substituting for something that shouldn't be going? Are you making errors within your coaching repertoire that you shouldn't be going to? Case in point, look at what you're doing, round it up, wrap it up, make better. Either which way, Joe Mazzulla's ball is not hard to break. But is the defensive prowess of what you can play? Is that something big enough that you need to control? Yes. Is that something that you should expect out of every other team? There's going to be differences in their play. Did you do the study on the Knicks within the previous series? You know, when they played the Pistons, and the Pistons grinded against them. You know, granted, it was a 4-game-to-2 thing. Do I think the Celtics can pull this off? Yes, but it's going to be extremely hard. But nowhere in any which way, and I know Knicks fans are coming off like, oh yeah, we got this in the bag now. It's like, hold on. What did I say about your Knicks? They're good, but I don't think they're that good. And then to top it off, are the Celtics that good? Yes. Are they playing like it? No. Is something going to click when they hit the floor in Madison Square Garden and it'll be a different opportunity? That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I'm expecting to the fact that everybody step up and do what they need to. If that happens, great. Cool. You found your way. You found your drive. You found everything you needed to. Make it happen. So Celtics, 3:30. Believe it's TNT. Oh, and one last thing. I don't have like a little graphic for it, so I'm just going to say it easily here. Reggie Miller is probably doing his best impersonation of Joe Buck in the world. I think he's a tool. Reggie Miller has basically come out. There was one thing I tweeted, and it was Reggie Miller came off as like, oh, Jalen Brunson is a very, very dangerous man. And then Jalen Brunson threw the ball away. He made an accolade that Jalen Brunson was more clutch than any of the Celtics. That is false because Jason Tatum is the highest clutch percentage shooter on both teams. And that can be fared to nobody knowing who Jalen Brunson was for like the 6-7 years he's been on the Knicks or playing for Dallas, I believe. But he's been in the league. He's not new. I'm pretty sure, if I'm looking at this right, he is 28 years old. He was drafted by the Dallas Mavericks. And he's been with the New York Knicks for, this is his third year. So he's gotten better at an older age, but he's not really anybody who's fully talked about. You know, he's not been that guy that has been popped. I mean, are people talking about him now? Sure. So, what do you got to focus on with Jalen Brunson to shut him down? Well, he scored 40 against the Pistons, and then he scored 29 against the Celtics, but he went 9 for 23. He scored 17 against the Celtics in the second game, going 6 for 19. So, what's the option? Let him shoot. Let Jalen Brunson shoot, because it's all he's going to try to do. And he's going to think he's going to get hot. And you challenge him. Is he going to make the... I mean, the 14 points, he was 15 for 33. You know, against the Celtics, he was 9 for 23. And then, like, the second game, he was 6 for 19. Do you need to shut him down? Kinda. Karl Anthony Towns is going to be the bigger aspect. You got to grind with him. Make sure it matches. You've got other players in the way. You need to be better. This is where you need to put your outline in. Celtics can do this. Game 1 was by a point. Did they need a 3-point shot? No. That's the point of this. So when you're looking at the other games, 105, 108. Three points, 1 point. What's the next equation? For Boston to win by 2 or by 5 or something like that, because I predict that will happen. They're going to win by 5+. Because New York basically had that moment where they did exactly what I see. And which way is it actually going? It's going on the side of Boston because they're pulling everything that they're doing. I have faith that the Celtics will win this game by 5+. That's the game for Saturday. That's my hot take. That's where I'm going with it. That's where I'm completely okay. And I have faith in this team. Wow. So, as I'm dropping everything. So what do we go over today? That's easy. We talked about the Bruins. Sweeney, drafting. They're drafting 7th. They're looking for a new coach. They're trying to find their way. They're trying to find everything they're doing. Do you have faith in the way they're going? Don't know, but we'll know soon enough. We talked about the Red Sox. Hunting for a first baseman. First base hunting. Okay, I think I've made enough movie references and everything like that to actually state a good point. What do I have, though, on the docket? Well, Rafael Devers. Get on board or get out the door. Because that's basically how, if I'm a general manager of the team, and I'm also the coach who needs to stand by the general manager who isn't doing so, you need to show that aspect. Be the team player, help the team out. We paid you to do it, or get out. Hey, trade deadline's coming up. Simple. Rafael Devers is available. Who wants him? Oh, you're going to give us pennies on the dollar? That's fine. We got 5 guys ready to come up. And I'm not talking about burgers and fries. I'm talking about guys that are ready to play the position no matter where they need to play. You got a bag of balls for them? Great. Those will go swimmingly during practice. And we talked about the Celtics versus the Knicks. Down 2-0. Where they need to be better, where they need to be focused, what they need to do to get ample victory. Celtics got it. You just need to get a little bit more, and you got to strut. Simple and easy. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. There's possibilities of everything that can go. But our time has passed. And it's going to be a monumental time because Sunday is going to be a really, really big difference. Because that's going to be after game 3, following day. And hoping for a better outcome. And we'll see what happens with Devers. And the Bruins are going to be overtime. At some point, we'll get back into the Patriots. I know to the fact there's a lot of things like going through the pipeline. We'll be planning some stuff in order to like, hey, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this. We're going to get prepared for this. And then it's going to be like, at some point, it's going to be back to football. Because hockey's going to be over. We're not going to care. Right now, we're at the off season, so it's small potatoes. But they're going to make the draft, and then they're going to start up again. The Celtics are going to be over or continuing or whatever they're doing, and we'll see how that goes, and then carry it on from there. But either which way, it's always fun to come in here and talk. But as it is, and as I'm excited, I am Topher, host of Boston Concessions, a SSBN podcast. We're based in Boston. We are monumental with how we strut. You can find us on YouTube at midnight on Sunday and Thursday, going into its respective days, Sunday and a Monday, and then Thursday and a Friday. We are also on Spotify podcasts. We're on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So you can find us in a couple places, and we are also on Instagram at Boston Concessions, and we can also find us on Facebook, Boston Concessions as well. And that is Concessions with a S, not a C. Because we perform sessions of how we talk about sports. So, I am your host. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful afternoon, evening, or night, or morning, whichever you listen to us. Hopefully, you guys have a sunnier disposition in your sports. Good night, everybody, and have a wonderful, wonderful time.